Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the 90 days to travel bold and happy Easter for those of you who celebrate or for those of you who just want to eat chocolate. Right. If you missed yesterday live, I had an amazing woman on the sorry, I had an amazing woman um on the show on the TV's Miriam the Exit Queen, and boy, she gave us so much uh food for thought. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, check the live from yesterday, 3 p.m. It was right. Okay. So today the title I think was I exited, now what? Right. I'm just going to continue as yesterday we had that discussion with the exit queen. I think that was the right topic to have today. To continue that journey, okay, of wanting more in life and you know exiting a life that does not serve us anymore. Okay, so that's the discussion that we're gonna have today. Okay, so we talked about leaving, the jobs, the relationship that doesn't serve you anymore, the life that does not fit anymore, right? So but nobody really talks about what happens after. So that's what I want to talk about today, because the truth is, when you finally leave, the job, the relationship, or the life that you don't want anymore, life gets really quiet because you're now all by yourself, right? You have all the time and space to figure things out and to think. And often this is where people get scared, and and if you're not careful, you'll start doubting your decision and questioning everything, right? uh, did I made the right decision? uh, uh, what do I do now? Okay, and who am I without all of that? And I think all of that is completely normal. And guys, I'm talking by experience and also by having discussed with so many different ladies. There's an amazing lady that I had on the channel, Zoe, who sold everything in the UK, and traveled the world. Not because she was running away from anything, she just wanted more. She wanted adventure in her life, and she did it, right? And there are many of us, even when I just go away for a few months, you start questioning your decision, you left people behind, etc. So I think it's very, very important to make sure that when you arrive, when you have done what you wanted to do, um, is to make sure that you plan an adventure, you plan joy, right? If you don't, you will start regretting your decision. And it's not that you made a bad decision, is that, it's often change is it's frightening sometimes. Okay, because the unknown can be frightening. So what I want us to do is to plan an adventure, not just plan your exit but your adventure as well. And I think most of us have an exit plan, how we want to leave the job, the relationship, the life we don't want anymore, but we don't have a plan for creating joy and adventure, in our lives. So that's what I want to share with you today. Okay, so you may think how to live, how to survive, and how to get through, but we don't have an adventure, and that's the difference. Okay, it's the exit plan will focus on what you're losing, okay, and help help to get you by. So have safe the money, etc. When you focus on the joy and the things that you want, what you're gonna gain, right? You're focusing on what you're gaining. You're focusing on how it will make you feel more alive again, right? um so you will push forward. So that's the difference. That's what I'm doing for myself, guys. Okay, so it, because there's so much fear, there's so much, I shared that last week. There's so much fear in wanting what you want and in wanting more. It's like it's so bad to want more, right? But it's growth. And I feel so much at peace with my decision today that now, instead of just planning of how it's gonna happen, the money that I need to make it happen, etc., I'm also planning all the exciting things that I'm gonna do when I move to France, etc. Okay, so because if you don't do that, if you don't plan the excitement, the joy, etc., you're gonna stay at home. Okay, you're gonna stay at home and you will figure it out for 100 years. You freeze, you stay stuck because you're afraid to make that decision and to to move forward. So the way I see it is when you finally exit, you really go to find yourself again. Every time I go on a solo adventure, because I'm a solo traveler, it's like, you know finding myself again, discovering what I love, what I like, my favorite food, color, and even the way I want to travel. So for me, this is becoming very real with your decision. Okay, and I'm not just talking about living anymore, but I'm actually talking about planning how you want your life to look next. Okay, the thing that you want in your new life, once you've existed, you've made that decision to live. So for me, I'm still mapping and working out how I want it to look. The first thing I know is that I want to go back to France. And it has been something that I wanted to do for a very long time. Not because I don't like the UK anymore. I actually love the UK. I don't know how many times I've said it before. I adore this country, the UK. But I'm leaving because I feel like um, I need more in my life. Even the country where I live now, right now, I feel like my time in the UK has expired. I feel like the UK have taught me all the amazing things that I needed to have and that will help me to move forward. The UK taught me so many skills, okay? How to be self-employed and how to use my skills and to know that everything that I've learned is something that I can use moving forward to create my own jobs, etc. The UK is an amazing place for that because it teaches you. It's a country where there's no such thing as a small job. You know, I see the British people as people that are proactive. The people that go search for the job. They don't wait for, like in the French culture, it's more like, you've done a degree in, I don't know, law, and if you don't find a job in the law firm or whatever, you're gonna sit in the employment for until you find that job. In the UK, it's like you go where the job is, whether it's in your line of studies or whatever, and it's very different. People are already always doing, and that's what I've learned here. How to be entrepreneur, and entrepreneurship can look like anything. So that's something that I'm taking forward with me. So now I'm planning not a holiday going to France, but have to live differently. Okay. What was I missing? What am I missing in this life that I have right now that I don't want anymore? And how do I want my new life to look like? Right? Have to reconnect with myself of all the, I don't know, how you lose yourself somehow along the years because you kind of live someone else's life, you know, because you're living for other people, not for you. And it's something that is so common in the Gen X generation, the women in particular. So now it's time for me to really map out the things. It's not that I did win the lottery, right? I'm still worried about how am I going to make it happen financially. Well, I'm working on it. I'm working on numbers. I'm working on making sure that my numbers is not just to have an accommodation and a place to stay and food, but also enough money for me to have fun, for me to continue traveling. Okay. And for me, as I said, it looks like doing house sit. Okay. I feel free enough within me to be able to bump in different places, houses, to countries, and discover. My dream has always been to visit the world, and I also wanted to visit France. France is a beautiful, beautiful country. You go from the north to south, east, west, so beautiful and different. So it will be to do house sitting within different cities wherever it's available, right? And that will be a great way to discover France as well, and to really decide where do I actually want to live, right? Where do I want my base when I've put enough money aside to either buy something or rent something. So yeah, because you don't want, if you don't plan all of that, um you might go and create the very same thing that you moved away from, right? I don't want my life to stay the same. I want my life to be different. That's why I'm making that move. So um I started looking for smarter ways to do it. Okay, so I already shared the house seat. I'm also like going to move slower, slow traveling instead of like traveling all the time. This is why I'm looking for places I can stay for 3 to even 6 months, okay, to discover a new region in France, for instance. Live like a local, because I've lived 25 years outside of France. So even if I'm a French citizen and grew up there, I changed. Every time I go to France now, I'm a bit like a foreigner. I don't think the same way anymore, etc. So you have to reverse culture shock. You come back and you need to relearn the ways, etc. And I feel so excited to, as I'm talking to you, you know, um, to how I'm going to do things differently. So, yes. And the other thing is, um, what I really understood is that travel is not just a holiday, it's also, for me, it's a way to reinvent my life. It's a way to test the life that I want to have, and to adjust along the way, right? Sometimes you may think that you want to travel the world and go, and then you feel like, no, you just want to be at one country for a year and then maybe discover the next place, right? um, so that's what I will be able to do. But definitely, I want to spend a year at least in France. And doesn't mean that I'm going to stay in France for 1 year. That can never happen for me. As a nomad, I always want to travel the world, but at least move my base in France. Meaning that no matter what happened for 2027, I want to be in France. So, and when I feel like when you change your environment, and I've seen that whenever I traveled, is that your thought change as well. Your confidence grows, your identity start shifting, right? Because you're not anymore influenced by outside sources, the people around you, the friend that means well, but think that you're crazy for doing what you're doing, right? Because they're not you. Only you know what you want, right? Often the people around you make you doubt of what you're doing. So um, usually in a new place, you can figure things out. You can figure out your life because there's no more noise around you. Guys, I have a my hair. There's something in my eyes. Sorry. So yeah, and also. Um, I don't want to do that completely alone, because I say community is something that's important. And with the YouTube community, my goodness, I met so many great friends. And I've shared several times on the channel that I've joined a travel club, because it's a community of travelers, okay? Meaning that there's a lot of trip as that you can do as a group. So you're not always alone, because we also need companionship. And as I said, it can look at, as just traveling with friends, or maybe sharing a flat with friend for a month or so while you're traveling, and really building with other women. So that's exactly what I'm working on. I've already have a group of a few ladies that want to travel, that we want to travel together. So that's something else that I'm looking forward to. um, because I feel like this next chapter of my life, it's not just about freedom. It's also about connecting, because often when you are in, for a lot of us women married with children, etc., we kind of forget about our friendship. We're so focused about these other roles that we neglect a little bit friendship. So that's something that I want to build. There's a few friends that I've lost touch with. One in particular, that we grew up together, and she's a sister, and I haven't seen her for 100 years, and she lives next door in the UK, in Manchester. So there's a lot of connection that, like that I um, want to reconnect, okay, with some friendship that have phase out along the way because life just took over. And so if in that place right now, you've left or you about to leave, okay, you're preparing your exit plan, uh, you know that the life that you are in doesn't fit anymore. Don't just plan your exit, okay? Really plan an adventure, plan the fun that you're gonna have along the way. Otherwise, you may, and this is so normal, otherwise you may feel depressed, you may feel sad, or scared, although these are valid feelings to have, right? Because when you change, you go to the unknown, there's fear coming with it, right? But just know that at the end of this fear, there's joy, there's adventure, there's fun, there's the life that you want, there's the life that you can design in your own term, right? Meaning that you decide the way you want your life to look like. So, and that's what I'm doing for myself, okay? So for me, it's France as a base because that's where I'm, I would say, originally from. I'm originally from Gabon, Africa, but I grew up in France. So, the both of them. And I've learned most of my adult and things in France. So I'm looking for women who are ready to start planning theirs too. Women that want to go in adventure, travel together. So tell me if you are still in your exit plan or if you are ready for your adventure plan, because adventure is more fun. Okay, for me anyway, because I'm all about going out there, traveling, have fun, and it makes just things easier. Because as I said, it was so scary to talk about it, but when you reward it, when you think about it differently as an adventure, and then you write down, of course it doesn't mean that you don't prepare to make sure that you don't get stranded, and you have all the things in place. It doesn't mean that you have to have everything figured out, because if you wait, as the lady that I had yesterday on the channel, the exit queen, Mariam, you will never go. If you're waiting for to have all the answers, you will never go, because in life you never have all the answers. Life has a lot of life is complex, right? Just have enough to plan your next steps, and then you figure that out along the way, right? So yeah, guys, living is brave, and I know it can be scary, but building a new life, um, it's so exciting. For me, it's just such a beautiful adventure that I'm looking forward to. And it doesn't mean that because you exiting your old life means that you're gonna forget about everyone that you had in that life. No, it's just change. The relationship will just change, and the focus will be more in you. Okay, because well, life is short, as I said, and yeah, I'm excited, guys. I'm excited for this next adventure. Let me just sip my coffee. I'm so excited for this next adventure. All right, guys. That's all I had to share with you today. Happy Easter. For those of you who are working in a corporate job, because like when you travel you work for yourself, everything you don't know anymore when it's the weekend, when it's the weekdays, you don't know bank holidays. It all looks the same. Anyway, so meet me tomorrow. at 7 a.m. when we are going to continue this conversation. I may move away a little bit from this topic in particular, but I think we're gonna start planning adventures. I think that will be the next one, where we actually plan the fun. Okay, we've been serious for way too long as women over 50. Okay, we've been for good reasons, right? It's just the stage of life. You look after the kid, the marriage, you have the house, you build your life, you look for a career, you build your career, and now it's time to have fun and to be free and to do the bucket list. Okay, to do the thing that you always wanted to do. And I shared with you the opera and going to live in France. 2027 is the year where I'm gonna go to the opera. Opera, guys, at this time, English doesn't come out of my brain anymore. The opera, not Oprah Winfrey, but opera. Anyway, it's like I'm drunk on coffee. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go now. Take care of yourself, and I love you. And see you tomorrow morning when we're gonna start planning the adventure. Exactly. I'm just going to map out, guys, what I want to do here with you live. Okay, I don't know yet, but I'm gonna write it down because we need to write it down to make it real. And let me share some one last thing with you. The fact that I declare it here with you live, although I was so scared and had the pain on my side, gosh, it's like I remove something on my shoulder. I feel so much lighter for having shared that here. And I'm so excited for what's coming next, for this new life that I'm going to create for myself. So, see you tomorrow when we're going to start planning this adventure and see what I want to do for the next stage of my life. Love you guys. Have an amazing day. Don't eat too much chocolate, okay? All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.